Well, hello. Sorry. Welcome to Chapter 4 of the World's Longest Suicide Note. I'm Roger, and while I may be suicidal, I am not a psychologist, psychiatrist, life coach. Really, anyone that you should do exactly what I say. One of those things. Okay. Today, we are going to talk about moving on from psychotic depression to major depressive disorder to now we're going to talk about generalized anxiety disorder, which is a fancy way to say I worry about everything. Yeah. And the interesting thing is, when does it, because when you look at the scope of mental illness, anxiety really goes hand in hand with a lot of the mental illnesses out there. And some people just have issues with, that's what they have, is anxiety. And anxiety sucks. But when you add it to something else, it's like that movie, The Ghost in the Darkness, with Val Kilmer and someone else about the lions in Africa. There was these two lions that would get together and they'd go and eat people. And then they, of course, people didn't like that. So they ended up having to kill them. And anyway, it's called The Ghost in the Darkness. And together, that's kind of what I call my depression anxiety combo, The Ghost in the Darkness. And that's kind of a weird thing to do, but it is what it is. The anxiety amplifies what the depression does. And, there's just times when it's a lot of anxiety and not as much depression, but they tag team a lot. They do a lot of tag teaming. And then I was thinking, well, my early days of watching wrestling, they were like the British Bulldogs. I got to stop naming these things because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they feed each other. The depression feeds anxiety, and the anxiety cranks up the depression. So, it's just one of those things that one of them alone would be tough, but together they're really hard to deal with. And anxiety is something that, while it's something that's pretty common for everyone, at least during portions of their lives, whether it's school, tests, work, when you have things that you have to get done, and life and everything. So anxiety is probably the part of mental illness that has the lowest barrier to entry as far as that goes. More people deal with, and there's so many that don't ever, they have huge amount of anxiety for a specific period of time. And then once the circumstance goes away, so does that anxiety about that. But for a lot of us, there is no real relief from the anxiety. Now, that being said, it is something that you can use mindfulness, and there's tools that you could use to manage the impact of the anxiety, as far as just anxiety. If I'm having a panic attack or just pretty heavy duty anxiety about something, there's some techniques, and we'll definitely get into this down the road a little bit. But there's ways that you can use mindfulness and breathing techniques to kind of get yourself to a center. and understand that you can mitigate some of those impacts. And for some people, there's medication, of course, for such things. For those people who really feel the anxiety more than anything else. But for a lot of us, it's an add-on, value added. If we were going to be sold it, well, it's just a value added. You get it with the package. It's a package deal. It's like when you get cable and you don't need a phone, you don't need a home phone, but they give it to you anyway. And then they make a big deal out of it. Like, oh, but you're going to get this for free. Well, it doesn't really matter if I don't use it. Anyway, but that's the case. We're already set up to be anxious about what's going on. We're already feeling the stigma associated with diagnoses and whatnot. So it's not like that we're not ready for that. I felt less stigma on the generalized anxiety than, because to me that was just kind of like a duh. I'm anxious. I never really I just saw it all as kind of being together. So I don't really know how anxiety feels without the, crushing depression. So that would be interesting to me. How would that feel without it? But, I digress greatly. Anxiety is something that, while a lot of people feel what that is, everyone has a basis of understanding. We could say, I was had a lot of anxiety about that, and people understand that. They get, because they, at some point in their lives, they've been there. So that's nice to talk to people regarding that, because whatever I say, I get it. Whereas the rest of the mental illness, the depression, especially psychotic depression, and for a lot of people that you're getting into the bipolar, kind of the schizophrenic, nobody knows. It's really much more harder to find common ground if someone hasn't had those things, because again, we don't really know how to express things. And the whole reason I'm painting this picture, I'll just say this, I've never painted a picture of what I feel is going on inside my head. I really wanted to separate the art, which was a feel-good, therapeutic experience, with, I didn't want to cross the stream, so to speak, of this is what I do for therapy, and this is what I want to try to do to get people to understand sometimes what it feels like. So this painting that looks not like a lot of anything right now. This is my first foray into painting something that will express one of the things that I'm feeling. This is about sleep for me. And it's really apropos because last night sucked. I was up, I could get to sleep. I just can't, because I'm old now, and when you get old, you got to get up to go pee in the middle of the night. And it's that point when trying to go back to sleep. And so really this is my attempt to understand, help people understand what that anxiety kind of piece fits in. And this is really, this is part depression, but a lot of anxiety, because that's when, you go and you're just telling yourself all the time, you're sitting there peeing and you're saying, just stay asleep. Just go back to sleep. It's easy. It's simple. Just put your head down and don't think about anything. But that's not how anxiety works. You can't create anxiety to get rid of your anxiety. They don't counteract each other. There's no equal and opposing force of anxiety. It's just all anxiety. So, that being said, that's kind of the reason why I'm painting this, so people understand that, when you go to sleep, which is a normal, healthy, great thing, and I love sleep. I really wish I could see it more and experience that more, but sleep is hard, and then that plays into the rest of your day. You wake up, your waking day, you're already kind of on the short end of the sleep stick, and now you have to perform. You have to do the things that are required of you throughout the day, and you're in a little incapacitated state, and as which opens the door to everything else. It's the word vicious cycle comes up, is used a lot, but this is truly a vicious cycle. And so anxiety is something that's big, and it's something that I, like my depression, that follows me around. I have an entourage. When I travel, I don't travel alone. I don't travel light. There's a lot of baggage and things that go with me wherever I go, and the depression, anxiety are always there, and so it's just part of that deal, and so the whole idea is to express. I mean, what people are going through. I'm just willing to talk about this. There's millions and millions of people that feel this and will, at some point identify with these things, but they just don't want to tell anybody, because it's hard to tell people. And again, when you say things, when you tell people, you're putting yourself out there in a way that, you're saying there's something wrong with me, which there's something wrong with everybody. That's nothing new, but it's still in the due diligence part of things. It's like, hey, I'm awesome. I have a great personality, but I also have some things that follow me all around, and really have defined my existence and my experience here. And that's one of the things I really want to push back. I don't want to be defined by anxiety. I don't want to be defined by depression. I don't want to be defined by suicide. And I really hope that that's not going to be, the end game in this situation. Because there's so many individuals out there who are just dealing with this every day and living with this every day, and they're not talking about it. And so they're not giving themselves a chance to create an identity without those things, or in spite of those things that happen, that are not their fault. If you're dealing with this, it's not your fault. It is not. And we have to stop acting like it's a choice. And we have to stand up, and we have to tell the people around us. You don't have to take an ad in Hustler magazine or anything. Can you even do that? Is that even a thing? I don't even know if that's even still a magazine. Magazine? I digress. What I'm saying is, you don't have to tell you don't have to wear it on your sleeve, but you need to start communicating, because that opens the door. It opens the door to being able to square with it, and to understand that it doesn't make it go away, but it also doesn't have the power over you. So anyway, our session is coming to an end. And so I'm going to bid you adieu for now, but I'm gonna just warn you. I'm gonna warn you because the next one we're gonna talk about is it's gonna leave a mark on me because it's hard to talk about. And that's my last diagnosis, which is PTSD. So, super excited to talk about that. But that'll be next. And so I will see you at that time. Have an amazing day. And if you can, find someone to talk to. Even if you talk to them all the time and they get it. Talk some more. All right, and then we will talk to you soon. All right, bye.